Camera number 391 is the Yashica TL. I believe it's the second of the TL series of mechanical cameras. The TL Super being the first. Around about late 1960s this one was released. I think 68 possibly. As I say, it's an all mechanical camera, only requiring batteries through the lens metering, hence the TL. So let's just run through the functions and features of the camera. Features the screw thread for the lenses, so any M42 lens should work in that. It does perform stop down metering, which means that when you close the aperture, the screen will appear dark, particularly if you're using something like an f16. So it actually closes down to the aperture that will actually be used to take the image. So that's the only downside I found with this particular camera. I've been used to using a lot of cameras that have the aperture open and only close down when you take the image. So that's something to bear in mind if you're looking at trying this camera out. So screw thread, we have a self timer here on the left, and then on the right we have a flash synchronization port and our little button or slider switch that we use to, I don't know if you can see that, it says on, and that's how we turn our light meter on. It will stay there, and then when you look through the light meter you get a matched needle affair. I don't know whether you can see that around there, perhaps, maybe not. And so we chose an aperture or our shutter speeds until we get the middle of the little C that appears on the right hand side there. As I say, it does perform stop down metering, so something to bear that in mind, particularly if you're using apertures around sort of 11 or 16. 8 didn't seem too bad, that seemed quite bright, and then obviously as you get up to 2 it's very bright. Shutter speeds go from 1/500th of a second down to 1/2 of a second. Unfortunately in this particular camera those aren't usable because it's mechanical. Obviously the mechanics are feeling their age, I think. So on this particular model I can use a 15th of a second up, but going down is not a good choice. It just works. You can hear the clockwork mechanism, if you like. You can use bulb, and the shutter button does have provision for a cable release. Our film advance, it's nice and smooth, and again it's nice that this is slightly soft, it's not hard edged, that's nice. Our film counter, we have a hot shoe, as I mentioned we have flash synchronization port there. And then we just have our film speeds are set with this dial around the rewind crank, which we have to lift up. No, we don't, we have to lift up, beg your pardon, correction. There is actually a separate lever for opening the film door, but we do have to lift it up in order to take the film out or put one in. So moving the dial there opens up our film chamber, and as you can see the slight rubberized curtain there again has some sort of again it's just a white, but it seems to have worked out. I have taken a few images which you'll see at the end of this video. Doesn't seem to have a negative impact on the camera. And then just for historical purposes, there's a little date here, or some recognition that this camera was taken in for repair to JCI Camera Repairs in Plymouth. Don't know the date because it doesn't seem to be. It could be the 20th of March 97, perhaps. Maybe. Okay, close the door, and then we have to lock the door. And we have our little button that we press in to disengage the film advance so that we can rewind our film back into our canister. A tripod mount, and then the battery that powers the light meter is actually a LR44. So we just undo that. There we go. And then we put the positive terminal uppermost and then close the door. One thing I did like about this was that you can actually turn the light meter off. That's always good. It's not always on, and when you do turn it on, it does stay on. That's good. Okay, I think that's pretty much it through running through the camera. So just put the lens back on. So I'm now going to show some of the images that were created with this camera. Unfortunately, I'm in the throes of a move, so the feature location to the darkroom is on hold at the moment until I can actually move and create a darkroom. I'm quite excited because that in itself is going to be a new project. I'm going to have a permanent darkroom, but more about that another time. But in the meantime, this is camera number 391, the Yashica TL.